Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing fine. Today's video is a bit different and a bit special because I would actually like to share some of my thoughts about the yodan demonstration that I did last year during the summer intensive seminar in Montreux. And so this is a bit more personal talking thing than showing you some techniques or other stuff around Aikido. But I think it's also interesting, and since I shared also the demonstration, the recording of the demonstration, I would also make some comments about it because there are a few things that surprised me, a few things that I was proud of myself that I managed to do it this way and not differently. So let's have a look at it. So first of all, the preparation for the exam started like half a year before the demonstration, beginning of the year, more or less last year. When Durward asked me or told me that actually we should think maybe about my yodan because it's more or less time to go for it. And so I had like half a year of preparation before doing it. And we were discussing between two ways of doing this demonstration. So either like we do the shodan, nidan, sandan, where the sensei is asking for a demonstration of ikkyo, asking for the first technique from the first attack, second technique, third technique, or and then next technique, and then another thing, and then demonstration of ushiro waza, of jiu waza, whatever comes, whatever is the program of a demonstration, or preparing my own demonstration, like it is a bit for the higher ranks, like godan, for example, where I would need to build up myself something that I would present during more or less 25-30 minutes. Without senseis asking me to do specific things. Okay, so we went more for the option of preparing a demonstration, but finally, on the day of the exam, actually, I learned that it would be rather more like the shodan, nidan, sandan, because we are 4 people to pass the exam. So for demonstrations would be close to 2 hours, which would be very long. And in addition, one of his colleagues was passing a shodan, so shodan is really like not a demonstration, it's really going through the techniques and through the whole program, which would anyway take 1 hour plus the 3 demonstrations, so probably above 2 hours. It was a bit too long after the seminar. So Patrick decided finally that we'll all together do the way we do the shodan, nidan, sandan, and present all the techniques that the senseis were asking for. So it was a change, of course, but Aikido, one of the features of Aikido is about adapting to what is happening, adapting to the flow, adapting to the energy, adapting to the problems. So yes, it was a change, it was a little challenge, but it was all about adapting to the situation and going through it no matter what, no matter how, okay? So that was an interesting experience, interesting change in the process. In general, overall, before I go more into the details of a demonstration, I think that passing the more advanced exams in Aikido is like a change or a transition process. Actually, it's more transition than just a change in one spot. Okay, so there is this preparation phase where you train more actively, where you get some extra trainings, extra repetitions. I'm very fortunate to train with Durward, who is offering a lot of time, additional time for training, for practicing the advanced techniques, repeating them, and so on. The ones that usually we don't do in the dojo because we don't have so many advanced people, advanced students to repeat this kind of things on a regular basis. So yeah, that was great that Durward offered me some of his time and we could train some extra things in the evenings after the class, regular class, or sometimes on Saturdays, on other days. Then there is, we have a few mock exams, like an nidan, sandan, yodan level would be like maybe 3 mock exams coming every month. So once a month, we have a come together of all the cooperating dojos from the area with Patrick, so under Patrick's teaching. So we have Patrick's dojo in Montreux, our dojo with Durward in Vevey, there is Anthony and Michi in Burrell, there is a dojo in Lausanne, in Fribourg, so there are a few dojos around who who work with Patrick, and once a month we can get all together and train together. And these are usually more advanced trainings led by Patrick. Preparing this kind of black belt gradings, we would usually do mock exams during these sessions. So this year, I think, so last year actually preparing the yodan, I had 3 mock exams. And it's interesting to see also the progress. So on the one hand, it's, you can see where you are, what you need to work on and so on. But then also from working like on regular basic very hard on the preparation of the exam, of a demonstration, every mock exam gets actually better and you can see the progress, which is amazing. And then finally, I mean, okay, if mock exams don't go well, probably Patrick would say, okay, maybe you're not ready yet, maybe we won't do it at the date which was foreseen, the final official demonstration. Maybe we'll postpone it to another seminar 2, 3, 4 months later. But if the mock exams go well, you do the demonstration, you have a go for the official demonstration, and actually then you're kind of, you know that you're actually going to get the grade. Would have to be really a disaster not to pass this demonstration at this level after all these mock exams that were already like a pre-test. So when there's a big day, when we are in a seminar, we have a few hours of intensive practice, sometimes repeating still things for the demonstration, but not really techniques. It's more of principles, foundations of Aikido, some qualities, these kind of things. Before we, after the last session of the seminar, make a little 5-10 minutes break and go into the exam. So usually the moment the exam happens, we are already quite tired. After a few hours of training, this is an additional effort, which is also one of the criteria is, I mean, you need to go on and pass it. And my luck in all of this, or luck, I mean, the funny part for me was that the last 3 demonstrations, the Nidan, Sandan, and Yodan, I was doing the summer intensive seminar, which is first week of August, first Saturday of August. And the weather, every time the weather was really great, perfect, but perfect for going to swim in the lake, you know. We had like 30, 34 degrees Celsius outside the dojo. And last year I remember we checked just at the end of seminar, just before starting, making the little break and starting the demonstrations. We had 32 degrees Celsius inside the dojo, so it was really hot. We're completely wet and tired, and that was really a challenge to still to go on with the exam, to do the techniques in a nice way, to present them in a fine way, you know. Just keep going for another 1 hour, you know, after having already practiced for a few hours before. To the demonstration itself, I mean, we did the beginning was very classical, like going through the Suwariwaza, the few basic techniques we do in Suwariwaza, the few basic techniques we do in Hanmi Hantachi. Then we had a Hanmi Hantachi Jiuwaza, so the free flow movements in Hanmi Hantachi, where the attacker is coming with anything, any kind of attack he can think of, and we try to move with it and do something about it. So that's okay, that's a bit more advanced, but I think already on Nidan, Sandan, I've done it, so it wasn't really new to me. Then some Kaishiwaza. What I find very interesting is the Kaishi Jiuwaza. So the Jiuwaza where actually I'm attacking the other person, my partner, and at a certain moment Patrick or Durward will say Kaishi, and when they say Kaishi, I'm supposed to reverse the technique. No matter at which point in the technique I am at the moment, I need to find a way to reverse it in an instant, you know. This is really cool. First time I did it was the Sandan, or maybe Nidan even. No, Nidan was without Jiwaza. Nidan was the beginning of Kaishiwaza, but the Jiwaza with Kaishi was first I did it for my Sandan demonstration. And I remember a very funny moment where actually I was my partner was doing a kotegaeshi on me, I was like almost lifting off for a high fall in kotegaeshi, and Patrick said kaishi in this moment. So I don't remember how I did it. I know that I pulled the uke with me, and I think we landed both down on the tatami. But yeah, you never know at which moment it comes. You need to react in an instant. As soon as you hear kaishi, you need to reverse the technique. So I think with the yodan, especially with the high temperature, with the heat inside the dojo, it was a bit more intense. It was a bit less intense than my sandan, so a bit slower. So it was maybe a bit easier, but still. The other thing I liked was the jiwaza with Rachel. I remember Rachel was attacking me. At a certain moment, there was something I didn't really get as I wanted to do it. So another thing in Aikido, right? You shouldn't want to impose something on the attacker. You should go with the energy. And at this moment, I think I had some idea of doing something. I wanted to impose it. And actually, I got down to the ground. So Rachel managed to get me down on the ground. And she continued like holding me on the ground. And we both went down. And it was like a non-standard, not Aikido standard movement, right? It was not a nice technique in Suwari waza, Hanmi Hantachi, Tachi waza, whatever. I was really down on the ground, and what I liked about it, I mean, what I found good about it, is that I continued, I moved on. I didn't stop, I didn't say, okay, it didn't work out, now we have to reset. I just from this place, I was looking for an option to remove Rachel from my back and continue the flow, right, the exercise. And I managed, so everyone was laughing a little bit around because it's kind of funny moment during the exam. But as I said, the thing that I'm really kind of proud of is that I didn't stop at this moment, but I went through it and I continued. Then there was a big surprise. The kaishi waza with soft weapons, with 3 attackers. So I've done in the past, we practice sometimes jiwaza with weapons, but usually it will be 1 attacker with a boken, or 1 attacker with a jaw, or 1 attacker with a tanto, with a knife. During the yodan last year, Patrick asked 3 people to attack with 3 different weapons, a tanto, a boken, and a jaw. And these were soft weapons, so actually the attackers were going full in. Not all of them. I think one of them was a bit more cautious or had a bit less energy than the others. But Heidrun, who was doing this exercise before me, she actually got really hit with a boken a few times quite hard. So the attackers were really going in. And because I had the possibility, the chance to observe Heidrun when she was doing it just before, I was already figuring out that actually, in my opinion, from my perspective, the most dangerous weapon from these 3 was the tanto, the knife. Because if you want to strike with a boken or with a jaw, it's quite a big weapon, so it's if I put someone between me and an attacker with a jaw or with a boken, he would have a bit hard time going around the person who is between us to strike me or to cut me. Okay, whereas the tanto, if I put someone between me and a person with a knife, the person with a knife can still quite easily go around the body and stab me. So my main focus during this part of the jiwaza with the soft weapons was to control the tanto. And there was also a funny moment because at a certain moment I managed to grab the tanto, take away the tanto from the attacker. And there was a longer moment. I didn't really do it on purpose, but there was a moment when the flow was continuing. I didn't really have time to throw away the tanto. I was using it a little bit also to protect myself from the other weapons. So there was a bit longer moment when I was holding the tanto and not giving it back to the attacker. And actually, when Patrick at a certain moment he said, "Hey, just give back the tanto. Don't hold it like this." So yeah, that was an interesting thing. It was a big surprise because it was the first time I was doing like this jiwaza with 3 attackers with 3 different weapons in addition, soft weapons where they didn't have to take care of not striking me with the wood, not to hurt me with the wood, but they could really go full in. And there also was a moment when I went down to the ground during this jiwaza, and I had to come up again because I mean 3 attackers with 3 different weapons sitting down on the ground. It's not easy. It's much more challenging. You cannot move that freely around. But I remember that I waited for the right moment. So I continued for a little moment on my knees before I could find some space, before I could create actually some space for me where I could get up without being hit immediately while getting up. So that was also an interesting experience, and experience like, wow, it's great that I did it this way, that I didn't try to, go down to the ground, get up immediately, no matter what the situation, and just get overwhelmed. But I worked for my space, to create my space where I could actually get up in a safe way. So this was really cool. And then, what else did we have? I think one more thing is the end of the exam. So at the end of the exam, after having presented all the weapons, work, and so on, techniques, weapons, we go into jiwaza. Jiwaza with expressing some qualities. And so we all had, in the beginning of the jiwaza, we all had the earth and the water. So earth, stability, water, flow, soft, like fluid. And then each of us was having some other two that he had to combine like together, show them, both of them together in the movement. So for me, Patrick had on the one hand mastery, so like mastering Aikido, mastering something, and on the other hand humility. So it's an interesting combination because on the one hand, like as a master, you feel like you're wow, okay? On the other hand, it's a humility where you are humble, where you are not really over showing how good you are at something. So I found this combination very interesting and actually quite difficult to show it in the movement. And you might be wondering because you can see in the demonstration in the video that I posted, you can see that actually I was. We do in the beginning a solo jiwaza. We start solo, expressing the quality, and only after a moment, Patrick or Durward would call an attacker and ask someone to attack us, and then we move with a person, but still expressing this quality. So the interesting thing about it is there are like 2 things. For me, there are 2 main reasons to do a solo jiwaza, which might look a bit strange, might look sometimes a bit funny. I mean, everyone has his own way of doing it. But on the one hand, if we are attacked by someone, if we don't feel comfortable with ourselves, moving on our own, it's difficult to be comfortable moving with an attacker. An attack is adding more pressure on our system, on our body. So if the system doesn't feel comfortable moving alone, it will be difficult to move in a nice, flowy way with someone who is attacking us. So I think it's a good practice with solo jiwaza to be more conscious of our own body, of our own movements, balance, and expressing some qualities. The other thing is that during the jiwaza we're supposed to express some qualities, like being stable and solid like earth, being flowing and non-resistant like water, or any other qualities like this mastery and humility. When you're attacked immediately by someone, you get a bit of pressure on your system. It's difficult to get a feeling for this quality, like to start expressing this quality immediately. The solo jiwaza part, this like short moment of solo jiwaza, it helps really to get with your whole system, with your mind, with your body into this way of moving. And once you're moving this way, when the attacker is coming, you just continue your flow. So you don't change, you don't need to adapt, you don't need to be stressed, you just, I am water, okay, I am water, I move like water, and the moment someone is coming, I receive him like water, okay? So this is why we do it actually, why we do this solo jiwaza. And then we have, of course, one, I mean, depending on the level. So until second Q, no, already earlier. But it's like first Q, shodan, and so on would have already, would be going until up to 3 attackers in the jiwaza. And there is one more thing I missed actually. It is also an interesting one. No, it was during this jiwaza with 3 attackers when the third person was coming in. So I was already dealing with 2 attackers, and at certain moment Patrick asked Anthony to attack me as a third one, if I remember correctly. So I will try to edit with a video to show this part of the video, and if it wasn't the third one, I will correct it. But the thing is that at the moment Patrick called Anthony, Anthony was behind me. He was sitting in a place that I was actually, at this moment I was turning my back towards Anthony, towards this part of the circle where people were sitting. And I remember that because Anthony was already attacking me earlier during the Hanmi Hantachi jiwaza, I remembered where he went afterwards, and I kind of coded where he was sitting. And the interesting thing is that at the moment Patrick called Anthony to attack me, I was very close to him, so he was like just behind my back. But I heard Anthony, and I was like, Anthony is there. And I turned around. In this moment, I managed to redirect the flow a little bit so that I would turn around and see for Anthony who was coming in. So I wasn't fully surprised by his attack from behind, because just because I knew from before where he was sitting, and I realized that he will come from the back. So that was a funny moment also for me, and an interesting one, because actually it's a good thing to know your environment, to be aware of your environment, right? So it's also part of a practice to be aware of it. So I think that's it for this video. It's already quite long. I've been talking for a nice couple of minutes. I'm happy that I got to this point. I mean, it's really, and I'm proud of it, proud of myself. You know, when I was a child, I remember it was like black belt in the martial art was something like wow. Now it's not only the black belt; it's a 4th dan, and even though it's just the 4th dan, I mean, there is still so much to learn about Aikido. It's you never stop learning it. You never stop advancing. You never stop deepening your knowledge and experience, and especially the feeling. Like it's a lot about feeling. The more you practice, the more sensitive you get to this connection, feeling, to the principles, and it helps to become better. And at the same time, the better you become, the more you realize how much more there is. So you're actually, even though you're so good already, you are still just like at the beginning of the path. It's incredible. It's like another duality in Aikido, right? That you think you become advanced. The more advanced you become, the more you realize how much there is more to learn, how little you know actually until now. Okay, so that's it for today. If you stayed until this moment, thank you very much for watching and listening. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts or experience that you would like to share in the comments from your Aikido or any other martial arts learning, and how you pass exams, how you prepare them, and how you feel about it. So thanks for watching, and see you again in another video.